Hey guys, welcome to Whiskey and Literature. I'm your host, Captain Mike, and tonight we're bringing the whiskey. I'm pretty excited about this review, except I'm actually refilming this video. I just realized today that I got played. I got played by Total Wine & More, and I'll explain that in a bit in the video, how they played me with this bottle of whiskey, and I'm still a little rankled by that. But I went to Total Wine a couple days ago, and just standing there looking at some bottles, and the guy came up, looking for anything in particular, he asked me. I'm like, no, not really, just seeing what you have. What are you hiding in the back? And he says, well, let me check. And he comes back with this bottle. It says it's $99. So I brought it home, and I thought, yeah, it's nice. It's Buffalo Trace's Mashbill number 2, Hancock's President's Reserve, single barrel bourbon whiskey. I don't really know a lot about this whiskey, not a lot of information from the bottle, not much information from the website. Let's see what the bottle says. Again, Hancock's President's Reserve, bourbon whiskey, single barrel, 88.9 proof. That's all it says. On the back, we have the legalese, and it says it's distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace. That's really the only information that we have on the website and on the bottle. In fact, there's more information on the bottle than on the website. Now they do say, or at least the internet says, that this is Buffalo Trace's Mashbill number 2, which is in common with Blanton's and Elmer T. Lee. So I felt like it was a pretty good deal. I've never had any Hancock's Reserve. I've actually never had any Elmer T. Lee. I see it on the shelf occasionally at inflated multiples of MSRP. And when I looked at this while he was running back, because he said maybe he had a Hancock's, I did look it up. Everywhere I saw it said MSRP was $50, but those were always a couple of years. So I didn't see any reviews or MSRPs from 2023. So I thought, oh, maybe Buffalo Trace is just trying to capitalize on the popularity on this one expression of the whiskeys. I thought, well, that's not surprising given the scarcity and people hunting and looking for these whiskeys. So I wasn't surprised and was okay paying $99 for this bottle. So it's non-age stated, and this is their high rye mash bill, or maybe they say higher rye, because no one except maybe Buffalo Trace would consider 12 to 15, and that's just a supposition, right? No one, or at least I don't really know exactly what is the mash bill. The reports on the interwebs are 12 to 15% rye, and no one would consider that a high rye bourbon except Buffalo Trace apparently, and certainly not the guys at High West. Now let's talk briefly before we get to the whiskey here about how Total Wine played me. Because I bought this bottle, was happy to pay $99, brought it home. I thought, great, got myself one of the Buffalo Trace products, and it's on par with Blanton's and Elmer T. Lee, 99 bucks MSRP, and boom, not correct. So Southern Bourbon Aficionados Facebook group, one of their members posted on Facebook that they had written to Buffalo Trace questioning the price that Total Wine has for Hancock's. And Buffalo Trace wrote them back and said, no, the MSRP is $49.99, and they don't dictate to their retailers what they price their products at. So in essence, man, I don't know. Have you ever bought anything from Total Wine & More that was not MSRP? I go to Total Wine & More assuming that all the products they have there are MSRP. Now, of course, that's just manufacturer's suggested retail price. So there's, of course, some leeway in there. But when I go there, I feel like their prices are the lowest that I see. And apparently in this one case, in the Hancock's President's Reserve, they're selling above MSRP. And if you read further in that thread online, one of the members was saying that Total Wine is the exclusive distributor for Hancock's in the state of Florida. And so they can price it however they want. Just like, according to this thread, ABC is the exclusive distributor or retailer for Weller products. You know, and as I was thinking about that, I don't think I've seen Weller on the shelf, you know, at the big stores besides ABC. Anyhow, so I was thinking, like, am I sad that I paid double MSRP? Maybe. I've had one small pour of this a couple nights ago when I filmed this video for the first time, and we'll get to that. But I mean, if you are looking for Blanton's, if you're looking at for Elmer Tea Lee, certainly. I have never ever even come close to seeing Elmer Tea Lee at MSRP of 40 bucks. I regularly see it on the shelf for 10 times MSRP at $400. I was just in a store earlier today and they had it for $2.99. So almost 8 times MSRP. I mean, if you saw Elmer Tea Lee in the store for 80 bucks, are you telling me you wouldn't buy it? I'm pretty sure I would. I mean, Elmer Tea Lee, 80 bucks. I'd buy every one they would let me buy. I never even had any of it, but I would like to have some. So for 80 bucks, certainly I would pay for it. Blanton's, I'm kind of holding the line now at MSRP. I've got 3 bottles, so I'm just, you know, I've overpaid for a couple of those. The last one I did pay MSRP, actually at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. So I'm kind of holding the line there. Maybe I would have rather, I mean, certainly I would have rather paid $49.99 for this bottle instead of $99. But that's kind of a PSA. If you're out there looking for this bottle, MSRP is $49.99, and Total Wine in Florida, at least, they're charging double MSRP for this bottle. So buyer beware. And let's get into the video and whether we think this is worth $100. One Benjamin. And this whiskey's been sitting in this Glencairn for probably half an hour. Just opened it up, did a little pour, was doing a little yard work today, and then just relaxing afterwards. And here we are. Kind of a long day at work today, though I did get out a little early. I was supposed to work till about 7:30 and I got home about 4:30. That was nice. It's always nice when you go to work and for whatever reason you're able to go home a little earlier. It's like a bonus. I think Hancock's President's Reserve, let's just call it Hancock's. I think Hancock's it's a nice nose. I think you could smell this and you could get different notes from it over time. I mean, I think it's a sweet nose. There's some fruits in there. I was smelling it a little earlier, and I was picking up some citrus. I think some orange peel. Definitely some vanilla in there. I think it's a nice nose. I think it's subtle, and you could just get into that and just pick out different notes. It's probably not overly complex, but it's just it's very pleasant and light. So, cheers. And that's my first sip of any whiskey today. And I would say, I feel like the palate does in some respects match the nose, except that it's not sweet. You expect it to be, or I expected it to be sweet after that nose. And I feel like it's a little not sweet. It's mild, it's gentle, but there's some, I'm gonna call it peppery spice in there. Maybe there is some rye and it's just kind of overpowering whatever little sweetness I was trying to bubble up. Because I feel like that nose is pretty nice and again, kind of subtle, but sweet. But on the palate, there is none of that sweetness, I don't think. Definitely a bit of cinnamon. And again, mild, gentle, some cinnamon and some pepper spice. Maybe a little thin, pretty short finish. I'm not getting any warmth. I mean, it's only 88.9 proof. No real warmth. There's no heat coming off of that. And oh man, right there at the end, it's just, right now it's just turning a little, just slightly unpleasant. Right there at the end, it's just not really a great pleasing finish to me. So there you have it, I think. Sweet nose, citrus, some fruits, palate, thin, gentle, pepper spice, finish, a little bit of heat and more of that spice, and it's relatively short to medium, more on the short side of a finish. So who should buy Hancock's President's Reserve? Well, if you get it MSRP $49.99, I think it's a decent deal. It's a nice sipper, not too bad. I think compared to, let's take it compared to Blanton's and Elmer T. Lee. I mean, those are both, I think my single barrel Blanton's is 93, I believe. And MSRP is just a little bit higher. And that's a pretty nice whiskey. And I think it's better than the Hancock's Reserve. But if you're trying to get that Mashbill 2 collection all the way through, I mean, certainly at $49.99, not a bad value. It's decent at $49.99. $100, I paid that for it. And again, if you want to complete your collection, you know, you're gonna pony up double MSRP, no problem, I think. So, but there are a lot better whiskeys out there. And, you know, I think Blanton's is one of those, just a slightly higher MSRP. Am I gonna buy this again if I saw it on the shelf? If I saw it on for $49.99, I would buy another bottle of this and just have it in there and just, you know, through the years, sip on it every now and again and have guys who come over and want to try some Buffalo Trace products, throw them some Hancock's President's Reserve, and I'm sure they would be super happy. Probably a nice bottle to take to a bottle share. Maybe it's something a lot of people haven't seen before. So in that respect, it's, I think MSRP, decent purchase. Double MSRP, you're starting to hem and haw, and maybe not. But you do you. And, you know, for some of us, I think, for me specifically, I don't have all the time in the world to go hunting. I don't have all the connections with the local retailers. You know, I'm not buddy-buddy with anybody here, except my local guy, and he doesn't really get the, you know, he's kind of by the beach, so he does a lot of that vodka and tequila. He has some nice products occasionally, but for the most part, he's not dealing with this sort of level of products. So anyway, so I don't mind paying double MSRP for some products, but you might think differently. But this is gonna be on my shelf, and if I can see it again, I'm gonna pick it up, and you have to decide if you will as well. And right now, if you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe to see more of my content. I do both whiskey and book reviews. And for now, you know what to do. Turn the pages, my friends, and stay thirsty. Cheers.